Hello everyone, so this discussion has been happening pretty much the last day. A Sinn Féin TD brought this up, and I don't know why Sinn Féin doesn't really care much about Ireland in the modern day. They don't really care, to be totally honest with you. But I do agree with the concept of this, and I'll explain why in a second and all my thoughts on it. So when I went to national school, usually when we had an assembly and stuff, the national anthem was always sang, and we always sang the national anthem. And of course we had our prayers in the morning and during our food, etc. Very Catholic school I went to. But I do think people should learn. There should be like a special course, particularly for primary school and in secondary school, the meaning of the national anthem and the sacrifice. Because again, the Irish state hates Irish identity. They hate the Irish people. So I don't see why they would do such a thing, because they hate us. Like, they hate Ireland, they hate everything. We see with the GPO what they do with the GPO. The national anthem, One of Ian, was sang in the GPO during the Easter Rising, the soldier song in English. It was sang in the GPO by Padraig Pearse, by the people that were in the GPO fighting the British, fighting for the very soul and foundation of our sovereignty and independence. And of course they hate that. The Irish government, the modern Irish government of today, hate that. Imagine saying that back in 1916, that the current government and the sovereign, supposed to be sovereign and free country, hate their own people and hate their own national anthem, hate their own flag. But that's the Irish government, the modern Irish government for you. But it is important because it's a huge meaning to this state, the national anthem. And of course it should be, I suppose, every year a class set out, even 30 minutes, 40 minutes, to teach people in primary school and secondary school the importance of the national anthem, the significance to Irish culture, the Irish heritage, the Irish history. But of course that's patriotism and nationalism. We couldn't have that in a backwards looking idea of sovereignty. It might give people the wrong idea of fighting for sovereignty and stuff like that. We don't want that in the Irish Free State. We can't have that. But you know yourself. But I do suggest that they do sing it in the morning. That's what I would suggest too, that the people would sing it, the generation that come up would sing it when they go into school in the morning. The first thing they do is sing the national anthem. And probably when they leave in the evening they should sing the national anthem. And of course at assemblies and stuff they should sing it too. And of course too, there should be the national flag flying at all schools and all public buildings. It shouldn't go without saying, but people get offended. Imagine there's people literally offended by the Irish flag, the Irish tricolour. There's actually people offended by it. I've heard it before, that people are offended by the Irish flag in Ireland. Like, imagine if you were in Timbuktu or something that you might be offended, but literally in Ireland, you're coming to Ireland and complaining about the Irish flag flying in Ireland. Makes sense. Make that make sense. But it should be the same, literally everything, the same in colleges. The national anthem should be sung. National pride, taking pride in your country. But yeah, I don't see the government ever doing that. Let's put it that way. Because I can't emphasise to you how much the Irish government, the current Irish government, hates Micheál Martin's or Taoiseach, supposedly Taoiseach. Backwards looking idea of sovereignty. To be sovereign is to have your own national anthem, to have your own culture, to have your own history, have your own heritage. But again, as this Sinn Féin, which Micheál Martin would like, the national identity, they hate that, and particularly as we see in the World Economic Forum, they want to dumb down national identity, that nobody belongs to anywhere, and all this kind of nonsense, which is, and we see this already, mongrels and stuff like that. Micheál Martin has called the Irish people mongrels and stuff, and along with other stuff, like when you put two and two together, they don't give a damn about the Irish national. They don't give a damn about the people who give their lives for this country. They don't give a damn. Simple as that. They couldn't give a damn. And Sinn Féin are not much tradition either. The Sinn Féin should be banging at the walls 24/7 about this. But Sinn Féin, every once in a while, they come out and say something. But we see with the immigration at the moment, Sinn Féin are nowhere to be found. They're all hiding somewhere. But I do agree with the concept. I'm not going to give out to this Sinn Féin TD. I agree with them. It should be. There should be at least, as I say, even twice a year, once a year even, 40 minutes to teach children the importance of the national anthem and to help them sing it even too. Because obviously a lot of people can't speak Irish, and that's unfortunate. But it just goes down to colonialisation, etc. But it's important that they do learn the meaning behind it, and of course how proud they should be to live in this country. A country that has a proud history of fighting for its sovereignty and its independence, and has never broken. And again, this should be, I suppose, intimidation to the current government, that the future Irish generation won't put up with the betrayal of the Irish nation. But of course, they won't allow that because sovereignty is bad and we can't have sovereignty and stuff like that. But, this is the people that's head of the government at the moment. So, and I don't think Ellen McAtee appreciates Irish sovereignty either. But of course, I do agree with it. As I say, it should be at the assemblies. It should be in the morning, and it should be in the evening too, that they sing a One of Ian, a national anthem, the soldier song, as we say in English. And there should be obviously the national flag flying in the majority of school classrooms too, of course, and at school, outside school buildings and at public buildings too, and Garda stations and fire stations and hospitals too. But nowadays, as I say, we're too ashamed to be Irish. You have to be like what they've been taught in schools nowadays is you should be ashamed to be Irish. With your identity and stuff like that. This is pretty much what's been disputed and like shown in schools, that you should be ashamed to be Irish and stuff. That's pretty much the message coming out of schools nowadays. Unfortunately, when I was there, it was more national pride and prayers and that kind of stuff. It's hard to get a word to describe it, but that's what it was about. But as I say, it's not about like literally saying you were forcing people, I suppose, not like North Korea and stuff like that. But we have lost a lot of a sense of national pride. OT, take for example, too, should, when they're leaving, when the broadcast is finished or when the news is finished in the evening, should play a One of Ian, as they used to years ago when OT shut down in the evening. They used to play a One of Ian. Back when we actually had people in the country that actually cared, and when OT actually give a shit about this country, excuse my language. But nowadays they don't. They just sold their soul to the WHO and the World Economic Forum, etc., etc. To backwards looking at your sovereignty, as they say. But anyway, I can't emphasise enough that statement for me, Hamar, because this sums up everything in a nice bow. But anyway, let me know what you think. Subscribe for more. And bye.